Today's episode is brought to you by FreedomProject Academy. Looking for a K-12 classical online school built on Judeo-Christian values? FPA is enrolling now for the fall. Request your free information packet at freedomforschool.com. That's freedom, F-O-R, school.com.
It's time to get educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. This is the Dr. Duke Show.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show. Before we get started, please hit that share button. We really want to share these episodes with as many people as possible. Katie is off all this week, but coming up to bat at the plate, it's our own Dave Fiorazo. Ajo. Good morning, sir. How you doing, Dave?
Good morning. Great. Ready to go.
Good to be with you. Alrighty. Today we start at Rutgers University. Oh, God. Somebody once said the best thing that ever came out of New Jersey was Rutgers.
No.
Yeah, that's not an endorsement. No. Where a partnership has been formed with a group famous for producing animations about graphic sex topics for kids. What they are partnering for is incredibly disturbing. So Rutgers University has teamed up with Amaze.org. This is one of those organizations that have grown up in the Common Core era. It's a private company who makes graphic, disturbing, age-inappropriate animations for little kids. This is really a dangerous thing. Mom and Dad, you don't realize how often during the course of a school day, a teacher's going to go to places like Amaze, a site off-site campus. They're going to upload one of these videos, going to show them to your kids. You're going to have inappropriate discussions in the classroom, and then they go back to doing what they were doing. And you will never know, because nowhere is this kind of interventionism labeled on the daily routine. It's not part of the curriculum. So this is really dangerous. You've got companies with radical sexual agendas who are producing free and pornographic information for kids, and you'll never know about it. You'll never see the books in the library. You'll never see reference to the Amaze site off campus. It's done and it's over with, and there's not much you can do about it. Take a look at this particular image.
Yes, come on, yes, oh yes. How many times is too many to masturbate in one day? Hashtag Ask Amaze! There's no limit on the number of times a person can masturbate each day. It's normal to have lots of sexual feelings and desires when going through puberty. And while some people want to do it all day long, others may not want to. Do it as much as you want.
I mean, the euphemisms, buffing the muffin, and the whole image is a young girl driving down the road in her car, bumping up and down as she drives. The implication that she's behind the wheel of her own body, and she's got her, for lack of a better word, hand exclusively on the clutch. And this is the kind of stupid, juvenile sex talk. And the answer is always never. Is it always, there's another one of these that says, does it make me a bad person to watch porn? Absolutely not.
Am I a bad person for watching porn? Hashtag Ask Amaze! Absolutely not. Watching porn doesn't make you a bad person. It means you're curious. It's normal to want to know about sex and naked bodies. I mean, look at this guy's penis. Isn't it just unreal? Whoa!
These things destroy human relationships, destroy the interactions between the sexes. These are documentable things. But no, what do you hear from the Amaze announcer? Absolutely no limits on what you can and cannot do. That's the world your kids are going to in the public schools. The Rutgers University Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology is now partnering with Answer to offer a certificate in adolescent sex ed basics. The fully online, isn't that appropriate for a porno site? The fully online 48-hour non-credit course includes 8 dynamic and highly interactive workshops.
So if this is their mission, they're trying to, like you said, there's no limits at all to what you can do. There's no limit to what you should do. You should try anything and everything. And who makes money off of that? Planned Parenthood and the abortion business.
You know, the best sexual health for little kids and early teens is no sex. That's the best. Yeah. There was a little lesson there on abstinence, so it was mentioned.
Oh, there was.
In one of those things, right? But again, it's kind of hard to sell abstinence when all your cartoons are about graphic elisions of masturbation and pornography. Doesn't quite work that way.
With all the censorship taking place on social media platforms, we've made it easy to keep up with your favorite content. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app in your app store. Get access to 18 new videos a week, plus thousands of archived shows, lecture series, and educational animations. Download the Freedom Project Media app on your Apple TV, Roku, tablet, or phone, and make sure you allow for notifications to keep you informed.
All right, before we move on, I just want to say that this show and all of our programming at Freedom Project is made possible thanks to our Patriot Club donors. So if you enjoy our content, please consider a donation to financially support what we're doing here. We produce 18 videos a week to keep you informed, and it all costs money to produce. So please consider supporting us with a tax-deductible gift, and as a token of our appreciation, we'll send you our trademark American Patriot tumbler. Simply visit patriotclub.us to show your support. Okay, on to our next story. Now, this is a little crazy as well. Tufts professor wants $10 million for what? For Black Maternal Health and Reproductive Justice Center. So another waste of millions at a university. Tufts University Medical School launched a Center for Black Maternal Health and Reproductive Justice led by a professor. I'm sorry, this is really long. You can see the name there. So this medical school's assistant diversity dean, that's her name, she said that the center will position Tufts as a leader in this field in reference to Black maternal health. She also said the vision of the center is to protect the Black birthing experience by advocating for quality, equitable, and respectful care in childbirth.
Yeah, because giving birth as Black is so different for the white women. You know how it works, right? When you're white, you go into a hospital, they put you up in a golden cot, right? And they have masseuses all over the place. Every muscle of your body was massaged by Indian dancers. And when it comes to birthing, they give you a cocktail with one of those little umbrellas, and then perfectly painless, the privileged little white child slides effortlessly from the vaginal canal, caught on pillows, right? And everybody's eating corn chips and caviar. Now, when you're Black, apparently...
Oh, things change.
I mean, oh my God. I mean, there's pain, blood. Maybe that's why...
It's a darker room, too.
Speaking of the Black birthing process, maybe we have a conversation, Mrs. Whatever your hyphenated name is. And then, by the way...
You try the name. Come on.
The reason we can't pronounce the name is because we hate Black people. You know that.
That's right.
Our inability to read that name quickly and efficiently is white privilege. It's a microaggression. But my point is, how about this? Let's have a big conversation about why it is that Black mothers, more than any other demographic, have their babies sliced up in abortion procedures. Maybe we could focus on that for a while. Maybe that's why we need a Black birthing, $10 million.
Yep.
Maybe no one's ever actually said to Black mothers, the purpose of babies is childbirth, not murder. Maybe that's all it's going to take. In our white privilege, we've neglected to point out to Black mothers that birthing babies is a healthy, natural thing to do. Having doctors slice them to pieces and sell the residue for profit, not so much. Do you think that might be the focus here?
Yeah. And she says, in the quote, she said, I need $10 million for me to be able to fund the center, to fund my faculty leads, for me to be able to stipend my students, for me to be able to get the full-time staff I need. This is a national coordinating center, so I need resources, she says. Again,
she's got a pronoun problem. Everything is I, right?
And me.
Not very gender diverse. But again, why not just take that $10 million and open up another Planned Parenthood right next to the university so Black girls can just walk right over, abort the baby, all is well in the land of progressives. I, me, I need. Give me this money. And again, like I said, are you going to use that money to actually teach moms and dads how to, keep these babies alive? Instead of exterminating blacks at a higher rate than any other race in the world? I'd like to see that happen. Hell, if you were doing that, I'd contribute to the $10 million. If you're, see, in my evil whiteness, I really would like to see more of these black babies born. Instead of this genocide, let's call it what it is. Yeah. It's academic genocide. This is the slow destruction of African American populations in America by college professors and universities who are buying into this reproductive justice nonsense. All reproductive justice should be on the side of the unborn child who has nobody looking out for it. Not on the mom, not on the butcher baby doctor killers who destroy those parents, and not the universities who float these ridiculous notions of somehow abortion being health care. I'll kick in. I can't give you 10 million, but if you start using these programs to teach African American mothers to have their babies, African American fathers to stay with the mothers they get pregnant, I'm in. I'm 100% committed. However, I don't think that's what they're going to do, Dave.
Yes, we'd love to talk more about this story, but there's a crazy one coming up next that you are not going to believe. We'll be right back.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on all items at MyPillow.com when you use the code Dr. Duke. That's DRDUKE. Support this show by supporting a great American company.
Okay, the next story, when I first saw it, I thought, seriously, this is a Babylon Bee headline and story. It's got to be made up. But then again, I saw it was taking place in Oregon. So, according to the Blaze, Oregon forces all schools, elementary and up, to put menstrual products in boys' bathrooms with instructions on how to use them. So if you need a tampon, just head into a boys' bathroom in any Oregon school. Apparently, no one is a biologist in Oregon, and now every public school will be required to provide tampons and other feminine products in boys' bathrooms, complete with instructions. Now, requirements is that's in accordance with the state's new Menstrual Dignity Act. That's right, signed into law by Democratic Governor Kate Brown last year, which mandates that menstrual products be made available in every student bathroom.
That's dignity, isn't it?
This is I mean, even I'm surprised at this one.
Yeah, this is dignity. Dignity is walking into a men's room or a little boy's room and having a tampon. This is unsustainable. This is, of course, a waste of resources. This is a climate uncharacteristic thing you're doing. You're doing something that's going to make climate worse, not better. You are satisfying your woke arrogance by pretending. This is one great episode of make-believe. And if you're going to do this, where does this stop, by the way? I mean, where does this stop? Are you going to have mandatory prostate exams for girls when they turn 21? How about that, right? Or when they hit puberty. Every little girl's going to have to bend over and watch some dude with wingtips insert a finger to make sure that her young prostate, which she doesn't have, is functioning correctly. I mean, this kind of kabuki, this kind of made-up Orwellian garbage here, it costs a lot of money. Like I said, it's unsustainable. It's a waste of resources, all to make Oregon lawmakers feel better about themselves. Congratulations. I mean, for a progressive state that's whining constantly about the environment and equality and sustainable production of conveniences, what are you doing here? You're filling the men's rooms with tampons. I mean, and why not morning after abortion pills? Why shouldn't they be available, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and furthermore, why don't you make all the men, get rid of urinals. Get rid of urinals, because a
That's pretty
urinal
sexist.
is it's sexist, right?
Yep.
I mean, it allows men to pee when it's uncomfortable to women. For women, women can stand up and pee. It's usually peeing yourself, right? But you can do it. But men can stand up and pee without any, danger to getting splashed. So get rid of the urinals. In fact, no, Dave, don't get rid of the urinals. Put all the toilets in the women's rooms, make them urinals. Because there's no difference between men and women, right?
That's
What
right.
better way to show how woke you are than to take all the toilets out of the women's bathrooms, because we really don't believe women exist anymore, right? And put urinals in. Force these women to stand up and pee as a vote for being just as masculine as men. See,
right.
when girls, it's passive. When women sit to pee, it's passive. Right?
Yeah.
When men stand, it's like, hey, look at me, I'm passing. If we're really going to empower the women in the women's bathrooms, they've got to have the urinals, put those tampons and all that other paraphernalia in the men's bathroom. Do you even see how stupid you sound, people? I mean, my God. Oregon, they're vying with California to be the dumbest state on the West Coast.
You guys might think we're making this up. You've got to take a look at this. So here's what they're doing. They're going into a men's bathroom. Now, this is in Oregon. This is one of the schools. Now you're thinking, okay, they're at the urinal. So that's got to be a boys' bathroom, men's bathroom. And they're showing that. What's that? Oh, is that a hand dryer? Is that a condom machine? Is that a video game? No. Is that for tampons? Or is that for, what is that in the men's bathroom, Duke?
Well, what I see is you see a couple of levers that you push and pull out, and then I assume the tampon would dispense. Here you are, two guys in their 50s, right? Who have no idea how a tampon machine works.
It's
Why?
gotta be like a
because
slot
we've
machine.
never had to know. It's not critical information, for the love of God.
Yeah.
In the same way, our wives have never had to have prostate exams, God bless them. We've never have to know how a tampon machine works, period. And why you feel the need to mess all this up, I don't know.
All right, well, education content is the primary focus of the Dr. Duke Show. Before we go, let's leave you with some other stories worthy of a comment or two. Let's start in the world's most prestigious universities, Harvard, where it pays to be impacted by slavery. More than 150 years after slavery was outlawed, Harvard is the latest school bowing to the racial pressure of reparations by creating, ready, a $100 million legacy of slavery fund. Harvard is looking to buy forgiveness after being featured in a 132-page report focused on the use of slave labor on the school's campus. Harvard estimates it had 70 African and Native American slaves during a 150-year period.
That's one every 2 years, the bastards.
That's right, unbelievable. Not everyone, however, is happy about this. Nicole Hannah-Jones, author of the 1619 Project and professor at Howard, don't confuse that with Harvard, says $100 million is way too low. So though Harvard has not yet clarified how the fund will be used, the university intends to work with the descendants of enslaved individuals identified by historic records during, quote, the process of reckoning and repair. Duke, I know you have some comments on this.
Clown makeup and hair. Put her back up picture there. There's Hannah Nicole, right? The 1619 lying dishonest history program, and she's got that clown wig on. But rather than helping people like her dye her hair a respectable color, what we're going to do instead is, she's got a point. If Harvard is going to play the look at us, we're doing something about reparations, you have a $40 billion endowment, at least. I think it's a lot higher than that. May even be closer to $100 billion, but you have at least a $40 billion endowment. Why are you giving $100 million? That's a slap in the face. That's like me giving out of $100 a quarter. You've given nothing. Hannah Jones is exactly right. If you're going to do this right, why don't you give $1 billion to the family of each of those 150 slaves? 150 slaves over 400 years. Do you understand how stupid you sound? 400 years of Harvard and 150 slaves had something to do with, I don't know, chopping wood or cutting bushes or something in the construction of Harvard. Be actually generous. $1 billion of your endowment to each of those families. We'll call it even. And then, of course, you can go under and no one will care that Harvard doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, Lord, what a long way from the pastor, John Harvard, who started the institution. But moving on. The CDC is in some hot water now after it was revealed they spent taxpayer money. What did they do? They tracked Americans during the height of the COVID pandemic. Shocking documents show the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention purchased cell phone data on millions of Americans to ensure they were complying with pandemic-related restrictions. So apparently, through a Freedom of Information Act request, it was discovered that the agency spent $420,000 to purchase cell phone location data from at least 20 million Americans every day.
If Verizon, who I use, or any of these big mobile giants is selling your information to the CDC and making a lot and using it to track you and your behavior, I smell. What is that? Oh, yeah, that's a class action lawsuit, isn't it? Do you smell that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I smell that.
This isn't just about tracking COVID. The report says it provided insights related to age, gender, race, citizenship status, income, and more. The purchase gave the CDC access to data for 1 year. Wow. So finally, we got to move on. Speaking of collecting data, the first clinical trials testing a human brain-computer interface will soon take place in the U.S. Synchron is beginning clinical trials on a controversial piece of technology that assesses how people with disabilities or paralysis can control digital devices without their hands. Synchron's device, once implanted, travels to the brain through the body's vascular system. Once it reaches the brain, parts of the device translate brain activity into signals that allow text messaging, emailing, online shopping, and other various activities. Synchron is a competitor to Elon Musk's Neuralink. The primary difference in the technology is where Synchron travels to the brain. Neuralink is implanted directly into the patient's skull. So, Duke, we've got the CDC tracking us all, and now we've got brain sensors that can potentially control everything you simply think them to do. And I know you have thoughts on this.
Yeah, transgenderism isn't the only and maybe the biggest trans we should be worrying about, transhumanism.
Yes.
This idea that we have to violate every tenet we know from our God, who made us in his image, to make us live a little bit longer, have a little bit more prescient lives. The idea being that transhumanism, just like being man and woman, is no longer acceptable to the progressive left. It's just boring. Being just human beings, we need to become machines, right? Because machines are made in the image of man, not in the image of God.
It would be funny if it weren't serious. This is really happening, friends. But that wraps up this segment. More to come next time.
And that does wrap up this show. For all of us at Freedom Project, stay educated, my friends.